solemn moment in your life.
Is it?
In fact, it's a watershed.
Huh?
Yes, the government, in its wisdom, has decided that you're old enough to vote.
Oh, is that all?
Is that all? We had to wait till we were 21.
I don't see why.
No, you wouldn't. When I wait for the vote, you never wait for anything else.
Well, you've got a faster pace these days.
Not round here, you don't.
I mean, we mature faster.
Well, so does Gorgonzola, but we haven't given it the vote yet. We just require a little intelligence.
You don't have to be intelligent to vote.
Of course you do.
Then how do we get this government?
Who would you vote for?
No one. I'm an anarchist.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I don't believe in order and authority.
What do you believe in?
Chaos.
You have to tell me that. I've seen your bedroom.
There you are, then.
Ah, yes, but every so often I go into that bedroom wearing my mantle of authority.
Your what?
My mantle of authority, and I tell you to get it cleared up. Otherwise you'll be living in squalor. That's why we need authority.
Not when it affects my personal freedom.
Well, what about when your freedom affects my freedom?
What?
Like last week, when your freedom to sit in the garden with your transistor at full blast affected my freedom to sit and enjoy the birdsong. What happened?
Well, you, wearing your mantle of authority, dropped my transistor in the water butt.
Exactly. While I'm the authority here, you're going to vote. Now, there's the candidates. Make up your own mind.
It's only for the council.
Well, it's still important. You want a voice in local affairs, don't you?
You mean vote for some self-important, power-hungry windbag?
No. Some decent, hard-working person whose only wish is to serve the community. Now, study them. I shan't say anything.
Brown, conservative.
What,
you weren't going to say anything?
I didn't. I don't have to. I mean, look at that photograph. Would you buy a second-hand car from that man?
He says he's served the war for 20 years.
And we still haven't got a bus shelter.
Well, I won't vote for him. He's conservative.
Well, that's not important. I think you should vote for the individual in council elections.
Ah, she's nice.
Who?
Judith Trevelyan, Labour. She's pretty. I'll vote for her.
Wait a minute. You're not going to vote for a pretty face, surely.
You said vote for the individual.
Yes, but not because the individual's got dimples. Besides, she's a Ms.
A Ms?
A Ms. That means trouble, Matthew. And she's Labour.
So what?
Well, they've never got in round here.
Well, perhaps it's time for a change.
You're wasting your vote. Go on.
Hey, this bloke looks just like you.
It is me.
What?
Yes. Your father is standing for the council as an independent.
Independent?
Yes.
I always thought you were a fascist.
That's all you've got to say. Surely you're a little proud that your father's been asked to stand.
Yeah. Do you think you'll get any votes?
Of course I'll get votes.
Can you vote for yourself?
Yes.
Well, that's one.
I'll get more than one. In fact, I expect a vote from someone not very far from here.
Who?
You. You know me better than anyone. You of all people can vouch for my integrity, my fair-mindedness, my ability to hold office.
Yeah?
So I can rely on your vote.
No.
I was counting on your support.
Why, are you desperate?
Of course, I'm not desperate. I'm a very popular figure around here. Probably be a landslide.
Oh, you won't need my vote, then.
My own son, fed and clothed by me, living under my roof at considerable expense, won't vote for his father. What are people going to think?
All right, then, if that's how you feel. How much?
How much?
I'll vote for you.
Your first vote and you're going to sell it. I'm disgusted.
How do you think I feel the first vote? I have to vote for my own father.
Not because I'm your father, because I'm the best man.
Suppose you're not.
I am.
All right, what made you decide to stand?
Well, it was suggested down at the club. There's some talk of turning our bowling green into a car park. I thought it should be right that we have a voice on the council.
I thought you were independent.
I am. Except where bowling greens are concerned.
Well, I don't like bowling greens.
Well, you're not that crazy about car parks, are you?
I think about this.
Just my luck. You walk around in a daze for weeks, and then as soon as I ask you to vote for me, you start thinking.
Careful, Dad. Don't upset the electorate. I think I'll just borrow your car for a few minutes.
What?
All right.
Yes, that's right. I've just filled it up, actually.
Why don't you have a word with Enid, see if she'll vote for you?
I don't have to. At least she has some sense of loyalty. Ah, Enid, I suppose you've heard I'm the independent candidate for the council?
Yes, and it doesn't surprise me, Mr. Willows. You always were public-spirited.
Well, I was just wondering whether you'd...
And you do have that clear, concise mind so essential in politics. That, together with your frank and fearless nature, make you the ideal candidate.
Thank you.
Councillor Willows does have a ring to it.
Yes, so I can count on your vote, then.
No.
What?
Nothing personal, but I've always voted Conservative.
Oh. Well, when I say I'm independent, I've always had a great deal of sympathy for the Conservatives.
Have you?
Oh, yes. But I think in these elections, it's better to vote for the man.
I do. Mr. Brown. I've voted for him for 20 years.
I see. Well, I no wish to denigrate a fellow candidate, but apart from being a pompous, overbearing carpetbagger, don't you think he lacks a certain sincerity?
No, I've always found him most sincere. And when he thanked me for my support, there were tears in his eyes.
Do you want to see tears in my eyes? I haven't got a vote yet. If no one in this house is going to support me, what can I expect at the hands of the electorate?
But I don't like to disappoint him.
But you don't have to, Enid. You've told him you're going to vote for him. He's happy. Just vote for me.
You mean lie?
Well, it would be kinder, Enid. People often do it. They tell the candidate they're going to vote for him just to get him out of the house.
You mean just to get rid of him?
Right.
I see. Then I'll vote for you, Mr. Willows.
You're not just saying that to get rid of me.
That depends.
On what?
Well, I know you have a clear, concise mind, but a candidate needs more than that. He needs heart.
I've got heart.
Mr. Willows.
Call me Henry.
Henry, if you have heart, why have we been arguing against my hourly rate for the last 6 months?
Have we been arguing?
Yes.
Enid, if you wanted more money, you should have said.
I did point out that I was paid well below the going rate and the cost of living was rising. Short of fainting through lack of food, I don't know what else I could do.
Well, what's the going rate?
£2 an hour.
It's yours.
Just like that?
Yes.
Well, I hope you take more care over the council finances. The rates are high.
Well, you'll have more money to pay them, won't you, you silly...
Go on, say it. Woman, why do you politicians have such a contempt for women?
I don't. I admire women. I respect them. I just wish we hadn't given them the vote, that's all. Come in, Miss Trevelyan.
Hope I'm not disturbing you. Everyone seems to be watching Coronation Street.
Not in this house. No, I was listening to a spot of Mozart, actually.
Ah, well, as you know, I'm your Labour Party candidate, and I wondered if you'd like to ask me any questions.
Yes, of course. Won't you sit down, Ms. Trevelyan?
Thank you. Now, if you'd like to know anything about me...
Yes. Why do you call yourself that?
What?
Ms.
I see. I noticed you were having difficulty with it. Well, I don't happen to believe that whether I'm married or single has any special relevance.
That Trevelyan is your married name?
Yes.
I thought so. We grew up together.
Did we?
Yes. You lived in the house with the bay windows. We played together. Don't you remember me?
No. Now, if there's any questions you'd like to ask me...
Yes.
Good.
Didn't you work at the bank? Yes, I thought so. Yes, I used to come in with the wages. Sure you don't remember me?
No.
I remember you.
Well, yes. Now, I am rather pressed for time, so if you haven't any serious questions...
No, I do have a serious question, yes. Yes. Where do you stand on the new rates proposals?
Well, I think
Yes.
that a community tax, irrespective of the actual income of the citizen, albeit reduced for the lower income groups by a means-tested rebate system, which simply transfers the burden of local authority finance at a time when the government has reduced the rate support grant from 60 to 48% from the above average and higher earnings owner-occupier group to the below average and lower earnings group, together with the proposal to reduce the business and commercial rate by government diktat at the expense of the domestic and household rates is thoroughly electrical.
Quite. My point exactly.
Any other questions?
Yes. didn't you go out with a tall, thin man? Smoked a pipe? Thought a lot of himself?
Yes.
Whatever happened to him?
I married him.
What does he think of all this electioneering?
I've no idea. We're divorced.
Knew it wouldn't work out.
What a pity you didn't tell me that at the time while you were collecting the wages. Now it's too late.
Wait a minute. Don't you want to know if I'm going to vote for you?
No, I naturally assumed that you were going to vote for me.
Why?
Because of the poster.
Poster? What poster?
In the window. Vote Labour. You didn't put it there.
No. That was my son. And I wouldn't get carried away. There's insanity on his mother's side.
Because he's voting for me?
Well, let's face it, the chances are rather slim. Voters round here haven't returned a Labour candidate in living memory.
Oh, perhaps I think it's time for a change, for some new blood.
If they want change, Ms. Trevelyan, it's there in the form of the new independent candidate.
What do you mean, the old buffer from the Bowls Club?
Oh, what? Buffer? Because he plays bowls? Well, I suppose you think it's an old man's game. Well, it isn't. Requires concentration, skill and cool nerve. It's been our national game for hundreds of years. Drake played bowls. And when the Armada was off Plymouth Hoe, he said, "Tarry, let us finish our game first." He went out and finished off the Spanish. That's a bowls player for you.
Oh, I didn't realise he was a friend of yours.
Who, Drake?
No, the independent candidate.
Henry Willows, independent candidate.
Oh, I see. And what do you stand for, Mr. Willows?
What?
What are your policies?
I don't have any. I'm independent. I don't hide behind party policies. No. I stand in front of my neighbours and friends and I say, "Here I am, Henry Willows, the man. Judge me."
And have they?
Oh, yes, I've been overwhelmed by the response. I didn't know I was so popular. Yes, the offers of support have been fantastic.
Except from your son.
Yeah, but he's only doing that to annoy me.
Yes, he seems to have succeeded. And if you're so confident, why have you kept me here? Are you afraid of me meeting the voters?
I've not been keeping you, merely delaying your humiliation. We're a very close-knit community around here. We stick together. I wouldn't go next door. They'll probably set the dog on you.
I've already been next door. He's promised to vote for me.
Who, Charlie Smith?
Yes.
It's the last time he borrows my garden shears.
Well, perhaps you're not as popular as you think. You can be too confident.
I'll tell you how confident I am. I'm not just going to win. It's going to be a landslide.
We'll see. I think I do remember you now.
Oh, do you?
Aren't you the little boy who got his head stuck in our garden railing?
Hello, Dad.
It's too brute.
Pardon?
Stabbed in the back by my own son.
It's my vote. You said I could do what I liked with it.
Yes, but you could have done it quietly. It could have been a secret between you and the ballot box, but no. You've got to put a Labour poster in the window. In the house of the independent candidate. What are people going to think? Looks as if I can't make up my mind.
Nothing of beliefs.
Your beliefs? You didn't have any a few days ago.
I've been thinking about it seriously.
Well, think about this seriously. When you stand as an independent, you put yourself on the line. It's a test of your popularity. You find out who your friends are. Well, I've found out. I haven't got any. You won't vote for me. Enid won't vote for me. Charles Smarmy Smith won't vote for me. Just let him smile at me over the hedge after this. If this trend continues, I won't get enough supporters to hold a decent whist drive. But, Matthew, don't you see? My triumph would have been your triumph. My success would have been your success. And it needn't have ended here. Who knows? One day I could have been mayor. Yes, we could have been travelling in the Bentley with a pennant and a chauffeur. The first citizen and his son.
Mayor? But Dad, you don't know anything about local politics. What do you know about housing, welfare and the rates?
As a matter of fact, I have the rates question at my fingertips. And I know this. A community tax, irrespective of the actual income of the citizen, merely transfers the burden of local authority finance from the higher-earning groups to the lower-earning groups. And this, together with the proposal to reduce the business rate by government diktat at the expense of the domestic rate, is thoroughly iniquitous.
Blimey!
You didn't know that, did you?
No! What would you do for the students?
Well, I have a great deal of sympathy for the students.
I haven't noticed.
But what do you want, rock concerts in the town hall and free condoms?
You're just not getting your message across, Dad.
Well, perhaps we need a few more decibels.
I expect people in this house to vote for. I expect them to show solidarity and support. And if I don't get it, there could be a reduction in student grants and the common income. And future redundancies. And as for you, Charlie Smith, I want those garden shears back by 10 o'clock tonight.
Hugh.
Ah, Henry.
Jim.
Just like to say thank you for a sporting contest.
And you, Jim. Yes, it's been a good, clean fight.
But at least we haven't descended to gutter politics, Henry.
May the best man win.
Thank you. Have your work cut out.
Think so?
Oh, nothing personal, but the party has held this ward for the past 20 years. Good evening.
Yes, but this time I think they'll vote for the man.
The man?
Yes, he has a free voice, unshackled by party restraints. Good evening.
Yes, well, with great respect, I don't think they'll vote for someone who's going to sit on the fence.
Better than voting for a puppet.
A puppet? I have given this ward 20 years, faithful service.
And we still haven't got a bus shelter.
Got your car park?
Oh, yes, well, that's all right for the Tories. They've all got cars. What's happening to the pedestrians? I'll tell you, they're getting wet through. Now, trouble with you, Jim. You only got to see an empty space and you build a car park.
What, with ski slope?
Yes, but it's hardly functional, is it? Apart from the fact we get very little snow, it's facing the wrong way. First bloke down, it ended up on the A1. I think you only got it to practice your winter skiing.
That is not true.
Then why are you trying to twin us with St. Moritz? No, it's time for a change, Jim. Help the old age pensioners. Good evening.
I am very well aware of the problems of the old age pensioners.
Well, you should be. You've caused most of them. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think I shall go and cast my votes. You haven't got a vote, have you, Jim?
What?
I mean, you don't actually live on the ward.
No.
No. I suppose that's why we only see you on polling day. Good evening.
Good evening.
Matthew Willows?
The same.
Have you voted before?
Oh, good heavens, yes, many times. Got a pencil?
There's one in the booth.
The booth? Oh, yes, the booth. Good turnout.
Little flow.
Oh, that's the rain. Bound to affect the Labour vote. Always does. Haven't got the cars, you see. Still, I think they make the effort. Tell you this, nothing has stopped me from voting.
Really?
Nah, it's your duty. That's the way I look at it. I'd go through fire and flood to vote. Suppose that's because I'm a political animal.
Over there.
Right. Is it a cross or a tick?
A cross.
A cross? You'd think it'd be a tick, wouldn't you? That's the sign of approval.
No, it's a cross.
Yeah, but you usually put a cross when something's wrong.
Look, if you want to put a tick, you can put a tick.
No? If it's a cross, it's a cross. I don't want to break with established practice. I know where I'm putting my cross.
Please, this is a polling station, not a political meeting. The ballots are supposed to be secret.
I know that. I wasn't going to mention her name. Hello, Dad.
Just voted, Matthew?
Yes?
I don't think you'll get there any smaller. You put it in a box.
I know.
You've been very secretive.
Oh, it's a secret ballot, Dad.
Oh, yes. It's the essence of democracy. It prevents coercion and undue influence.
You want to know which way I voted, don't you?
No, that's between you and your conscience.
Good.
But if you want to tell me, I mean, that's up to you.
What's the point? It's in the box now. Whatever I say, you'll never know for sure.
Well, no, if you're lying.
How?
Whenever you lie, you have a little smile round your lips.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you're going to tell me, you better tell me the truth.
Well, I wasn't sure right up to the last second. I didn't know whether to vote for my principles and the good of the community, or for you. In the end, I couldn't go through with it. I voted for you, Dad.
Thank you, Matthew. That means a great deal to me.
He's back.
I know, I heard the car.
Do you think he's won?
Well, we'll know by the way he closes the front door. He's lost.
I hope he doesn't blame me.
Why should he blame you, Enid?
You don't know what it's been like this week, Matthew. He's followed me everywhere, even to the polling station. I've had less trouble getting rid of gypsies selling white heather, Matthew. If he's lost, he'll be unbearable.
No, whatever you say about Dad, he's always been a good loser. Well, Dad, who won?
She did.
Yes! Wow! Bad luck, Dad.
You did vote for her, didn't you? You lied.
Well, I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
Well, if you didn't want to hurt my feelings, you could have voted for me. What chance did I have when my own kith and kin wouldn't support me?
Mr. Willows.
And you? Suppose you kept to the habit of the last 20 years and voted for honest Jim?
No.
You didn't?
No. I was going to, but I changed my mind at the last minute. I couldn't do it.
Thank you, Enid.
I voted for her. I'll make some tea.
That's marvellous, isn't it?
Don't blame us too much, Dad.
I don't. I blame you. My own son.
It's only one vote. It didn't make any difference.
Well, that's where you're wrong. Arithmetic was always your weakness. You vote for her and not for me. That's 2 votes. Enid voted for her and not for me. That's a difference of 4 votes.
You mean you lost by only 4 votes?
No. 659. It was a landslide. Even the Bowls team forgot to turn out. Well, I hope you're all satisfied. You're now being represented by a feminist, pinko trendy who calls herself Miss.
Mr. Willows. Miss Trevelyan to see you.
Oh. Hello.
Hello. You left rather abruptly. I didn't have time to thank you for that gracious tribute you paid me in defeat.
That's all right. I've always known how to lose.
I'm giving a celebratory supper. I wondered if you'd like to join us.
Me?
Unless you've some objection to drinking with a socialist.
No, on the contrary. I've always had great sympathy for the labour movement. I'll get my coat. Supper?
That's the story.
Oh, lovely.
Well, what do you think of that?
I think that's what's known as a sudden swing to the left, Edie. Trouble, Dad.
What do you mean, trouble?
It's Julie. She's here.
Julie?
And she intends to stay. She's got a suitcase with her.
What?
Don't worry. I told her it was out of the question. She can't stay here. Not now we've got things running smoothly.
She certainly can't. Running smoothly? You call this running smoothly?
You know what I mean. This is a bachelor pad. There's no room for girls. Besides, quite frankly, I think she's got a nerve coming back here after 7 years.
She certainly has. Wait a minute. Isn't that what you did?
Yes. And that's why she's come, to safeguard her interests.
Her interests?
Her inheritance. Well, let's face it, Dad, you're not going to live forever. One day you're going to pop off. Don't get me wrong. I hope you have a long and happy life. Long and happy. In fact, I don't even like to think about it.
It's funny, neither do I.
Look, when you go, well, this house should be worth a bit. Then there's your insurance. Your estate could come to a considerable sum. I don't know what's in the will. Suppose you have made a will.
Oh, yes, man.
Good. Makes things so much easier. You don't want to die intestate?
No, that'd be stupid.
Well, we've always assumed we'd get a third each.
We?
Frank, Julie and me.
When you sit around talking about my will?
No! Not all the time, but it has cropped up. And I suppose because I'm closer to you than the others, she thinks I may be coming in for more. Oh, I know it's an ugly thought, but that's what it's like in families. Children can be very mercenary, wrangling over the deathbed before the body's barely cold.
Yes, well, let me put your mind at rest, Matthew. There won't be anything to come because I intend to spend it all on riotous living.
You can't spend it all, Dad.
Why not?
You'll need to save something for your old age. And then, as you grow older, you'll need less because your appetites will diminish. Unless you need full-time nursing.
I know. You've made me realise something, Matthew. I should be living my life right now, to the full.
No, live it to the full later, Dad. It'll be cheaper.
Well, I'm going to live it right now. I'm not waiting for it to come out in paperback. And if there's anything left over, I'm going to leave it to the Bowls Club.
Good for you, Dad. You tell her that.
Don't you worry, I will.
Yes, I tried to warn her. I said you changed. You're not a daddy dumpling anymore. Dumpling? That's what she used to call you. Didn't you used to have a name for her? A real girly name. What was it?
I don't remember.
Of course you don't, because you've changed. You've been hurt. She won't be able to twist you around a little finger anymore. I told her. He hasn't forgotten the way you all abandoned him.
No, I certainly haven't. I remember the day she left. She had a new skipping rope with silver bells on the handles. Wouldn't even listen to me. Just kept skipping round the furniture. Well, if she thinks she can come back here now...
Hello.
Who's this?
It's me, Dumpling.
Don't call me that.
Don't call her that.
It's Julie. Don't you recognise me?
No. You've put on weight.
I know. I'm thinking of going on a diet.
Good, we've just eaten.
You're too young to go on a diet. Besides, you might become anorexic, and I've got enough problems. What you need is the right food and regular exercise. Done any skipping lately?
You would.
Yes, I seem to remember you were very fond of that. When you left this house 7 years ago, you didn't walk out, you skipped. Didn't even say goodbye.
Not even goodbye.
Your last words were salt, mustard, vinegar, pepper.
I didn't realise what was happening. I was only 9.
That's no excuse.
No excuse.
You knew. Frank was too young, and Matthew, well, he was always a bit slow.
What?
But you were the brightest. I expected more from you. I thought we could talk together. Remember those long walks we took? And we talked about the future? And we planned your career in neurosurgery? All those dreams we had?
Yes, I remember. You promised me a pony.
You haven't come back for it, have you?
No, you don't understand.
Oh, no, of course I don't understand. No, isn't that what the judge said? A parent lacking in warmth and understanding. It was the talk of the neighbourhood. Have you any idea what it was like, going out there, mowing those lawns, lacking in warmth and understanding?
Any idea what it was like?
Wait a minute. Is it my imagination, or is there an echo in here?
Do you mind if I sit down?
Why?
I'm tired.
Typical of the younger generation, no stamina. Couple of hours on a train and you're tired.
I didn't come by train, I hitchhiked.
What? Julie, how many times have I warned you about accepting lifts from strangers?
Right.
Move out of that chair, Matthew. What? What made you do it? Anything could have
I
happened.
was perfectly safe.
Julie, no woman is safe on the roads these days. Even the nuns travel in pairs. And dressed like that. If you're going to hitchhike, you should wear something shapeless.
Didn't have time to think about it, and I didn't have any money.
No money?
Dad, she's smoking.
What?
Smoking. In here.
Yes, pass on ashtray, Matt. You should have money. I send some every month.
It doesn't go very far. A little makeup, perfume, a few clothes. Of course, they resent me spending it on things like that.
Oh, do they? Well, why shouldn't you? After all, you're a young lady these days. Can't they see that?
They don't seem to want me to grow up.
No, well, your mother wouldn't. She's still trying to pass the 35. What made you come here?
I needed your advice.
Oh, I see. Don't they give you advice?
No, they just get on to me all the time. They resent my friends, my clothes, my social life. I thought if I could stay here for a couple of days.
Oh, well, I'm afraid the spare room's a bit of a mess, Julie.
Uninhabitable.
I suppose you could use Matthew's room.
What?
And he could take a sleeping bag into the spare room. It's only for a couple of days. Do you know, you do look tired. Why don't you go have a nice hot bath and I'll bring your case up?
Oh, thanks, Dumpling. I knew you'd understand. You always did.
Yeah, that's all right, kitten.
Kitten? Well,
What?
you certainly told her.
I couldn't turn her away, could I? After all, she's my daughter. Daughter. Yes, I didn't realise I had an attractive daughter. Mind you, I shouldn't be surprised. Takes after me.
You?
Yes, my side of the family always had the looks. Yes, I could show you a picture of me. Bare legs, ringlets, holding a teddy. You'd be amazed at the resemblance. It's uncanny. Uncanny. Yes, and she was a lovely child, too, with that golden ponytail and the sweetest smile you ever saw. She was such an affectionate child. Everybody's darling.
Affectionate? What about the time she creosoted the dog?
That was a childish prank.
The dog didn't think so. It was almost rigid. If I'd been quick with the Turks, it'd still been standing in that garage. Could have used him as an ornament. You never punished her, though, did you? You never hit her.
I don't believe in that. I believe in reason.
You hit me.
Yes, well, there's any way I could get through to you.
Remember the first time you hit me? I was fighting with her.
Yes, I remember. And I was sorry, but I had to defend her, didn't I? Can't hit girls.
Why not?
Why not, indeed? Never worried you did it. And you got her in the end. Got her with that building brick. Did you notice that mark on her forehead? There to this day. Scarred.
That's right. Take her side. She was always your little favourite.
Wait a minute. Let's get one thing straight. I never had any favourites. You were all treated equally. And while she's in this house, you'll find you'll both be treated in exactly the same way. Now go and move your stuff out. Wonder if she'd like some flowers. Yeah. Yes, I think I'll go and pick some flowers.
Mr. Willows.
Yes, Enid.
I know some people think I'm just a menial round here.
You're not a menial.
A faceless drudge.
You're not a faceless drudge.
And an interfering busybody.
You're not a faceless drudge. What's the matter? What's happened?
When I left that kitchen this morning, it was gleaming. You could have eaten off the floor.
Well,
now it looks as if someone has.
well, that's probably Matthew. You know what he's like.
It wasn't Matthew. I know Matthew. He's congealed egg, squashed beans, and splattered fat. No, this was something new. Spaghetti hoops, yogurt, and abandoned apple core. I'm afraid it was the young lady.
You mean Julie? Did you say anything to her?
I tried. I suggested that while she was here, she might like to help in the kitchen, do a little ironing, possibly some sewing.
And?
She laughed in my face and called me a name.
A name? What was it?
I can't repeat it.
Well, I have to know, Enid. Could you write it down?
I'm not sure I could spell it.
What was it?
Eunuch.
What?
A female eunuch.
Well, what that means...
I know what it means. A eunuch is someone who is allowed into the harem having been rendered harmless by a certain rearrangement. It is no way to address a woman who has led a full married life. I insist on an apology.
Of course. Julie!
I knew there'd be trouble. Has she been rude?
Julie!
You gonna wait, sir?
What's the matter, Dumpling?
Julie, you called Mrs. Thompson a name that has wounded her very deeply.
Oh, you mean female eunuch?
Yes, and I insist on an apology.
I can't do that, Dumpling.
Can't you?
It's a dance.
It's a question of principle.
You want the hairbrush?
What principle?
She suggested I did the chores. And I want to know what law of the universe, what decree of nature makes me responsible for the ironing and sewing. Why not Matthew?
You're a girl.
I'm a person, Matthew, in my own right.
Yes, well, that's true. Yes, she's a person. In her own right.
I was merely pointing out that Enid is in danger of becoming a sexual stereotype.
She's doing it again.
I intend to choose my own role in life, and I won't have one forced on me by male prejudice.
Well, you've got a point there. She has got a point there. And very well expressed. Hadn't thought of it like that. Yes, but don't speak to Mrs. Thompson like that again, Julie. She doesn't understand. She hasn't done sociology.
If you say so, Dumpling.
That's a good girl.
I thought you were going to tell her off.
I did.
That wasn't a telling off. There was nothing like a telling off. When I get told...
What do you like at sewing? You know, I'd miss this.
What?
Reading together. We always used to do this on Sunday afternoon. Very restful.
All right, where is it?
Where's what?
My Adrian Mole.
Why do you want it?
I want to read it.
But you've read it 6 times.
I don't care. I want to read it again.
You must know it by heart.
It's my book. It was on my shelf, and I want it.
But you've read it 6 times.
That doesn't mean she can take it without asking.
You take it without asking?
Yes.
Well, you shouldn't have done that. Why didn't you ask?
Because he'd have said no.
Well, not if you've asked in a reasonable manner. Well, ask him. Go on.
Matthew, may I borrow your book?
No.
It's my book, and she turns the corners down.
All right, I'll buy you a new copy.
When?
Tomorrow. In hardback. Right?
No, I want that one.
All right, Julie. If you're going to be petty, give him the book.
And what about my Bruce Springsteen?
What about her Bruce Springsteen?
That's mine.
You mean you took it?
You swapped it for my grey sweater.
No, I didn't. You gave me that sweater because it was too small.
No, I didn't.
All right. He can give you the Bruce Springsteen and you can return the sweater.
Oh, yeah, now it's got a hole in the sleeve.
There was a hole before.
No, there wasn't.
Look, I'm getting tired of this. If you're not prepared to accept the return of the sweater so that she can have her Bruce Springsteen, give it a rest.
What about my book?
Give him the book.
Certainly. And you can forget about the Bruce Springsteen.
Good girl.
Just let me have the £5.
What £5?
The £5 I loaned you, remember? You signed an IOU.
Have you got it with you?
No.
Then you can't prove it.
Wait a minute. If she says you owe her £5, you shouldn't have to prove it.
Oh, that's right. Take her word against
She
mine.
doesn't lie, Matthew.
I see, and I suppose I do.
Do you owe her £5?
I might.
I see. Well, for a little peace and quiet, I will pay Julie the £5 and replace the Bruce Springsteen, and I'll get you a new sweater. Right?
Right.
Glad that's settled.
Except for the book.
Give him the book.
I want that book.
Leave her alone, Matthew.
Right,
Matthew.
little darling.
Rat bag.
Creep.
Pig face.
Cow.
Don't you call your sister that.
Oh, that's right. She kicked her. Ah, she just kicked me.
No, she didn't. She kicked me.
Oh, well, if I want
You
to.
were... Oh!
I knew you'd do that. You shouldn't hit people on the head. You could damage the brain.
What brain?
Matthew.
Having a quiet Sunday afternoon.
Matthew.
Don't talk to me.
I'm sorry.
It's too late. You've made a mark.
You've been rubbing it.
You lost your temper.
Well, I just hate to see you two fighting. She's your sister.
Don't care.
It should mean something.
Well, it doesn't.
Look, it's perfectly normal for a brother and sister to bicker and squabble. Perfectly normal. But deep down, I mean really deep down, don't you feel something for her?
Really deep down.
Yeah.
No.
Well, then you should. I'll tell you something. I always wanted a sister.
You can have mine.
When I was your age, I wanted a sister like Julie. Someone I could look out for, someone to protect, to be proud of.
You were proud of her, all right. When we were out together in the pram, who was always held up to be admired? She was.
She was a pretty baby.
I know, and I was the ugly brother. I'm surprised you didn't take me out with a bag over my head.
No, you weren't ugly. Just sort of nondescript.
Whose fault was that? I was neglected. She always had the top off the milk, I didn't. Even her orange juice was stronger than mine. I know, I tasted it. No wonder I grew up at all. I was starved of affection.
No, you weren't.
Even when we went on the train, she had to have the seat by the window. I never got the seat by the window.
Well, that's not important now. What is important is that you're related. That means something.
You were related to Mother, and look what happened.
Oh, my marriage. I had no more in common with your mother than the woman I stand next to at the bus queue.
Which woman's that?
Doesn't matter which woman. I'm talking biologically. I had no relationship with your mother.
That's not what I heard.
I mean, we weren't related by blood.
But I don't like any of our relatives. I prefer friends. You can choose your friends.
Matthew, how many times have I told you? Friends can let you down. It's a harsh world. One day you'll be in trouble.
Will I?
Perhaps divorce, drink, drugs, even on the run.
Oh, you've got a lot of confidence in me, haven't you?
Your friends will melt away. You'll have no one to turn to but your sister. That's when you'll need her.
Yeah, and I suppose when she's in trouble, she'll need me. Say, divorce, drink, drugs, with child. That's when she can come to me.
Well, yes. Well, that's hardly likely to happen, is it?
Why not?
Well, she's not that type of person.
But I am. You're taking her side again, you always do. And don't come up here saying you're sorry because you're not.
Of course I'm sorry. I've just broken an original recording of Greece Piano Concerto. Matthew!
Mr. Willows.
Enid, do you have a brother?
Yes.
Are you fond of him?
Fond of him?
Yes, I mean deep down. Really deep down. Are you fond of him?
Really deep down.
Yeah.
No, I can't stand him. I mean, I'd do anything for him, but that's not the same, is it? I've never forgiven him for a certain act of greed.
Greed?
When Father died, he went straight to the garden shed and walked off with his lawnmower. He pushed it 5 miles home. I've never forgiven him for that. And then there was the silver...
Did you want something, Enid?
Oh, yes, I forgot to tell you. Your ex rang. She's out of her mind with worry. Apparently, Julie left without a word. They didn't know where she'd gone. They've even had the police out looking for her. Never thought she'd come here. They were thinking of dragging the canal.
What? Julie?
Would you like me to stay?
No.
Yes, dumpling.
Never mind about the dumpling.
What's the matter?
Apparently your mother didn't know you were here. She's been worried sick.
I don't care.
Well, that's not very considerate, is it?
Well, she's not very considerate.
Well, what's happened?
We had a row.
What about?
Oh, I wanted to go on the pill.
Yeah, well, that's no reason to... At your age?
All right, there's no need to shout. After all, it's my body.
Your body. You've only just got it.
I don't see what all the fuss is about. They're all on it at school.
All? Come on. There must be one or two still holding out.
I knew you wouldn't understand.
But you're too young, Julie. What's the urgency? You haven't... You're not...
No, I'm not. I haven't been, but...
But you're thinking about it.
No.
Then why?
Well, you wear a seatbelt, but it doesn't mean you're going to have an accident.
No. You say you drive faster. You've only got one body, Julie. It's important to you. One day could be important to someone else. So when the time comes, just make sure it's not a physical wreck.
When the time comes. Didn't you ever have desires when you were my age?
Oh, yes, I had desires. And they were usually frustrated. Hasn't done me any harm.
That's a matter of opinion.
Yeah, well, all right. But I know one thing. You always have to pay the price in this world. There's a price for everything. If you know the price, and you're prepared to pay it, that's fine. But until then, forget about the pill. If you're ever in that situation, take a glass of water.
Does that work?
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean, before or after?
No, instead of. I want you to phone your mother and apologise.
What for?
For scaring her half to death.
I certainly won't.
You will, and that's an order.
Take your hands off me!
Come on, I mean it. Oh! That's the second time you've done that. Right. I am going to do something I should have done years ago. Come on. On my knees.
What do you think you're doing? He was going to hit me.
All right, leave this to me, sis.
Sis?
You can't hit her.
What do you mean? I'm a father.
That's no excuse. You haven't seen her in 7 years. It wouldn't stand up in a court of law. In fact, you're in a very tenuous legal position. Look more like an unprovoked attack to me.
She kicked me.
Well, you could have reasoned with her. There's no need to resort to violence. No sooner the word than the blow with you.
You haven't changed.
You don't need to tell me that. Get your things, sis. I'll take you to the station.
Sis. Did you see her to the train?
Yeah.
She all right?
Yeah. Oh, and she says she forgives you.
Oh, that's a relief.
And she's sorry she kicked you.
So am I. What's that you're reading?
You mean this?
Yeah, looks very official.
It's your will.
Right.
I just happened to come across it in the trunk.
You've been in my trunk?
Yeah. And all I want to say is, thanks, Dad.
What for?
For treating us all equally. You've been fair and I appreciate it. It was never the money. I was never interested in that. It was the principle. Just to know you cared for me as much as the others.
Of course.
By the way, it isn't witnessed together. Seen to if I were you, just in case.